This is Kishore and welcome back to Kishorelytics. In this video, we are going to dive something exciting concept that is called the DDL and DML. In DDL, it consists of the data definition language. It consists of three commands like creating a table, how to alter the table, and how to drop the table. And DML is nothing but the data manipulation language. It's nothing but we have to insert the values, we have to update the values, we have to delete some values in the tables. So in my previous video, we have discussed about the DQ, data query language, and how the query works behind the screen. Also in the previous video we discussed. So it's worth for watching. So let's get started. Yes guys, in my previous video we have discussed about the SQL and we have introduced the SQL crash course. And now in the previous video we have discussed about the select query, and that is called the DQL, how the select queries executes behind the screens. So how to fetching the data, how to fetch some results from the database. So in this today's agenda of this video, where is my pointer? Yeah, I can write it. Today's agenda is one, the DDL, how we can create the database, how we can drop the database, how we can alter the database. So that's the main point of this, how we can create the database, how we can drop the database, how we can alter the database. And the second motive of this video is DML, how we can insert the values, how we can update the values, how we can delete the values. If I don't want the values, I just delete the values. I don't like this profile, I can delete the, I'm the owner of the database, I can able to delete the database. That's a basic intuition. Today's agenda is DDL and DQL. It's a short video. I just covered. It's a story time as well as the practical part. So don't worry about that. Let's get into it. It's a story time. So imagine guys, I am not developer. I am, if I consider as a data scientist or data analyst, mainly the software developer can able to create their database. They have some requirements. They have some business analysts, and this business analysts give some requirements to the software developers. So software developers can able to create the database and alter the database, and they can drop the database. So they have some requirements. First of all, let me create some. Let me have some examples. Let me create some Instagram, let us build some app like Instagram. So in the Instagram database, we have some columns like name. So if I want to create the database, right? First of all, I want to create the database. Means let me want the name and the password. This is the main motive of this column. So I want to create, right? So for how to create the database, later we can discuss the syntax of the creating the database and altering the database and dropping the database. Later we have discussed in the practical part. For now, I am a software developer. I can able to create this database schema. Database schema is nothing but the rows and columns. Already we are discussing in the previous videos. Here I have the name of the profile. Here I have the Kishorelytics and the password of this Kishorelytics. Let me have some password, and here I have the login date. Okay, let me have some date and the previous login date. Let me create some. These the previous login is my Windows function. Later we have discussed about some Windows function in later videos. For now, the main motive of this video is DDL and DQL. Okay, fine. So how I am the database. I am the developer. I can my requirements is to create the database. So if I sometimes the business analyst some additional requirements, right? They tell additional requirements, add some database. Let me create the date column, first login date. Let me want to create the database. So let me want to alter the database. Already I have created the database. I have already created the initial DB. DB is nothing but the database. Let me write it. DB is nothing but the DB is nothing but the database. So okay, fine. Already I have some requirements. They give some requirements. I got created some database. So now they give additional requirements. I want to alter the table schema. I want to alter the table schema. That's a alter database comes here. That's alter database comes here. Again, I don't like this schema. Again, the business analyst comes. The clients doesn't request this like table schema. They want another table like schema. I don't want this table schema. I just want to delete this schema. So the drop database comes here. Have you guys beware of that? So now let's get into the practical part of this DDL. Okay, fine. Let's get into it. Yes guys, before getting into the theoretical practical part of this DDL statement, let me teach some syntax. how to create the tables. Let me create some syntax and alter and drop. After this, wait a minute. After this, we can able to get into something exciting practical part. So how to create the syntax of this table? So first of all, I am going to create an employees table. So that's the main intention. I'm going to creating a schema, just a schema of this table. That's a schema. I just write it here by here. Yeah, I just write it by here. I just going to create a schema of this table. Schema is nothing but this. There is no values in this my database. I'm just creating my database schema. What are the values? What are the columns are going to inserted? That can be only created in this creating using the create table statement. Okay, the main intuition. Okay, the main intuition of this is create statement, create syntax. Okay, let me teach some how to create syntax. Later I am going to improve my handwriting. Okay, the syntax of this create table is, first of all, let me want to create that. Let me use the some syntax called create and table. We are going to create a table, right? So we are using the create table. I'm going to giving the name of the table. I'm going to giving a table name. That's the table name. I'm just going to create the employees table. So I'm just employing whatever it may be. You may be it in the capital letters, or you may be name it as the small letters. For me, small letters as the camel case. Okay, fine. I am opening the parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, what are the requirements I have? Later I have write it here. Okay, fine. In this employees table, what are the columns are means ID. The second column is ID, person's name, employee name. Let me name as employee name. The third column name is nothing but the employee phone number. Let me name it as phone number. Later we are going to name it as the address. Okay, these are the main requirements given by the business analyst. They use some requirements to create a table. So how we can create a table means using a syntax. We are going to create a syntax, create table. We are creating a table, so we are creating a keyword. We are going to create a table, creating a table. So create table. I'm just giving an employee as a simple database name, table name. Okay, nothing but that. First of all, let me give some ID. These are my employee ID. Let me name it as employee ID itself. Employee ID. Okay, nothing but the employee ID. Create table employee ID. And in this, I want to give the data type. Data type nothing but in the previous Python crash course itself, we are giving the data type. We are seeing about the data type, right? If you don't watch this video, I have some tutorial about the Python crash course. Please make sure to check that in the Kishorelytics channel. Please make sure to subscribe to the Kishorelytics channel. So I just want to create the what kind of data to be stored in the employee ID. The employee ID consists of the numbers. Employee ID, let me name it as my register number in my college days. So my number is, let me write it at 711522BC052. Okay, this is my employee ID. In this employee ID, it consists of numbers and characters. Whatever it may be. In your college, it may be consists of integers. Then you can able to name it as integer. For me, it consists of both numbers and letters. What we can do? Let me have the another data type. I am introducing another data type and introducing another keyword called varchar. Varchar. Okay, nothing but the varchar. Okay, fine. Varchar of how much letters, letters. It consists of how much letters I'm going to give. I'm just giving. I don't want to waste the memory. Just like I'm just giving the 50 or 20. 20 is enough. Okay, fine. Let me give the comma. Okay, guys. I'm simply creating a table. Create table employee. Giving a table name employee. This is nothing but the employee. I just write it here. Table name. Okay, fine. Table name. I'm creating the employee ID. I'm just giving in my employee ID that is consist of letters and numbers. So I'm just giving the varchar. And again, again I am came back and just giving on the employee name. Employee name. Okay. Employee name is consist of only letters. So I'm just giving a char also. You can use the varchar also, but char means we are mostly many of the numbers are char only, right? So we can use them. Char 30. Let me give the size as 30. Okay, fine. So again, my requirement is nothing but the phone number, right? Phone number. It consists of only the numbers. So I'm just giving the integer. So integer in remember guys, I am using a Microsoft SQL Server. If you are using a MySQL workbench means it may be to change the variable. If you are using the Oracle means, yeah, I just know, yeah, right. If you are using the Oracle means you want to give the full name integer. I'm just using the my Microsoft SQL Server, so I'm just using the integer. Okay, integer. Okay, in integer we don't want to give the name. Okay, again let me here I am just name it as comma. Okay, fine. The comma is very important guys, and most of the times I missed this with the error with this commas only. Okay, fine. Again I'm just giving another requirement, and another requirement is nothing but the address. Address is nothing but the character, right? It consists of both numbers and letters. So a door number, right? What happened to my mouse pad? Okay, fine. It consists of numbers. It consists of, let me name it as 50. Again we are closing, we are opening the parenthesis, and we are going to close this parenthesis. Okay, and semicolon. Okay, that nothing, these are the things we are going to see in the database. So I have clearly explained about the syntax of this video in this tutorial. I just clearly explain the syntax. Okay, create table. I'm just saying the table, if you want to give the table name is nothing but the employees table. I'm just giving, and again I am introducing another keyword. I don't want to here. The employee ID is nothing, not null. I don't want this, leave it as empty, right? So I'm just giving the condition not null. Okay, fine. Not null is nothing but the not null. Okay, employee ID varchar not null. That nothing method, nothing more in technically. I'm just using these are the English, simple English, right? Create table employee name. Table name is an employee. Inside this employee table, I just want the employee ID. Employee ID is both integers. It consists of both integers and numbers. So I'm just naming it as varchar of the size of this total size length. So in Python, I just teach about the length, right? Length of some digits means varchar of 20. So again, I just have another requirement called the employee name, and the employee name I just want the create table syntax, and just say there are 30 characters. More than that, if you want means you can able to give that. So again, the phone number is nothing but the integer. Nothing but the integer. The phone numbers basically consist of integers only. So I just name it as integers. Address, it consists of both door number and letters, capital letters. So they name it as varchar. Data type. These are the data type. We want to give what kind of sugar we are going to see. It may be the white sugar, it may be the brown sugar, it may be whatever the sugars we are going to show. Those guys who watch this Python crash course are able to know about the square box. I just have another beautiful sugar story in my Python crash course. So that's it. And later we discuss about the alter statement and drop statement. And first of all, the main syntax, the main very important, super important. Super important. Wait a minute. What happened to this? I don't know. With the main super important to this SQL is creating the table. Then first of all, if you want to create the table, right? So only we can able to play with the tables. So that's up for this video, and that's up for this session. Later we are discussing about the alter and drop, and later we are discussing about the DDL, DML. I think so. DML, insert, update, delete. So these are the things are available. So stay tuned. Subscribe to the Kishorelytics channel. Thank you. Yes guys, in my previous session we are discussed about how to create the table, the syntax of how to create the tables we are discussed. So now we are going to discuss about the alter and drop. Okay, these are the main indication or the syntax. I'm just reading a syntax only. Later we are discussing briefly in the practical part. So don't worry about that. Stay tuned. For watching, but stay tuned. So the syntax for creating. So little bit my handwriting has improved, right? My handwriting has been well in notebooks, but in my teaching, in the teaching part, it's nothing but it's new to me. So later we have improved, right? Okay, fine. Now let me. I just already created the tables. The business analyst gives the requirements as employee ID, employee name, and the phone number. Later name it as number. Okay, fine. Oh, yeah. Name it as number and address. Okay, these are the things the business analyst gives to me this as a software developer. Okay, fine. Now and again after the business analyst came to me, I just don't need the client says, and the client says I don't need this table. I don't need this phone number. Later the client doesn't require this phone number. And for now I'm just giving that we are the top MNC company. We are just providing the software to this some IT company. So we are giving to some company. Let me name it as a textile company. Okay. Okay, for now I'm just creating a schema, so I just created the table structure. Already in the previous session we have created a syntax of this table structure. So again the business analyst came in this the client told, as the textile owner told, they don't need their phone number. So later now, okay, the phone number is important, right? They don't need their address, they just need their phone number only. Okay, the employee number, employee ID, employee name, that's it for this their database. Okay, so we want to alter the database, right? We don't want to create again and again. We don't want to create the create table syntax. We don't want to use. We have created some database, so we are going to altering the database. We don't want to change. We don't want to create the new database. We don't want to create the new database. We have the database. We just want to alter the database. How we can alter the database? Later we have discussed. Okay, fine. We are going to alter. So we are going to alter means we are going to patch up. Are you guys aware of patch up? We are going to alter the database. We are using a table alter table. I'm just using the alter table. I'm just using the again we want to give which table you are going to change. Already we have created the employees table. From which table you are going to alter the table? I'm just using the employee, and again inside this I don't need the address column, so drop. I'm using the drop column. I don't need the column only. I need table, but I don't need column address, right? Address. That's all. That's all for this alter syntax. We are going to alter the table. We are going to alter the table. From which table? This is the table name. So this is the table name we are going to discuss. This is the table name. We are going to alter the table name, and I don't need the address column. So I'm just using the drop syntax, and here I'm just using the column. Column means I don't need the column only. I don't need the column, but I need the table. I just need the table. Employee software. Where my mouse has been again and again drastically changing. Okay, fine. I just write it here. But already we have created this table, some tables with columns. So I did this table. I just need this table, but I don't want this address column. So I'm using a drop column address. That's for this syntax of alter. So now let's go to the drop statement. So what is meant by the drop? Drop is nothing but the deleting the entire database. So the main confusion between delete versus drop versus truncate. Very super important, very important interview question. Very important. Delete versus drop versus truncate. When the interviewers ask about this. Later we have discussed about truncate. For now we have discussed about drop. Drop is nothing but we are going to drop the entire table. Okay, let me teach now itself. Later no confusion. Deleting the entire table. Deleting the what happened? Deleting the entire table. Okay, this is the drop. Truncating means delete the columns but remains the table. Delete the columns but remains the column structure, table structure, nothing but the table structure. It deletes only that what are the values inside this table, but it remains the table structure. That's the basic condition. So again the delete means delete used to delete columns, delete the values. Very important question. Very important question. Please make sure to note it down. Drop is nothing but the delete the entire table. Truncate is nothing but the delete the columns that remains but delete the values only. It remains the columns. It remains the table structure. Delete means delete the values. That's up for this tutorial. And drop is nothing but the syntax for the drop is drop What happened to it's already getting lag. Okay, fine, let me change it. Drop table persons. Drop table persons. These are the table I have created. So let me name it as employee also. Table name. This is nothing but the table name. Okay, fine. That's up for this session. Later we are getting into the practical session. So that's up for this theoretical story part. I have explained clearly, and I just imported the interview questions also. Later we will get into the practical part of this session. So let's get into it. Yes guys, now we are going to getting into the practical part. So I don't want to leave the theoretical sessions like writing the sketches and some trolley sessions. I don't want to leave that. So just getting into the practical part of these sessions. So let me get into it. The main agenda, we are going to create the tables, altering the tables and drop the tables. So let me go into it. So we want to create that new table. So we have to create the new tables called the persons with columns. The business analyst gives the name as ID and the person name and the birth date and the phone number. That's it. And again the main intuition, wait a minute, I just getting into mind. If you are commenting comment, I don't read the command right, I just teach about the command, how to write the commands in SQL. So if you are writing the multi-line command, if you are writing the multi-line command means you can use the, wait a minute, I can write it here. Okay, fine. If you are using the multi-line command, multi-line means starting up this and ending up by this. These are the things you have to use in the SQL as the multi-line command. I don't think I teach it right. Later you can able to remember. Single line command is nothing but the hyphen. That's it. Nothing more personal. We want to how to write the commands means when the interviewer asks means multi-line commands means slash and asterisk symbol and ending by starting with slash and asterisk symbol and ending up with asterisk and opposite. Quite opposite like that. Single line commands is nothing but the double hyphen. That's up. I think I'll cover everything right. So for I just creating the tables. Now to create the tables, we are going to create table. I'm just going to create the table. So I just give it the name. See the keywords looks like in the blue letters. Blue. It's like looking in the blue color, right? So create table. I'm naming it as the persons. What are the tables I'm going to create? I'm just going to the persons. I'm just creating a person's name. So later we are discussing. And again ID. ID is nothing but the employee ID. You can able to give that name as a ID, and again it may be stored as an integer, the data type, and then not null. Nothing. The employee ID should not be empty. So I just giving the not null. If the ID should be empty means it shows an error, something error. Okay, some warning messages to it can be given. So later we are getting into the person name. So employee name, let me name it as. Later we have discussed about the employee name, and it's going to be the varchar. Data type is nothing but the varchar. Varchar is nothing but the varchar is nothing but the is the tool. Varchar is nothing but the both consists of both letters and the numbers. Again the employee name should not be null. So I was giving a null, not null. So I just came with another requirement called the birth date, and here it may be the data type as the date. Here I SQL also can have the data type as the date. So it comes many time date many things later we are discuss briefly in the later sessions. So phone, again the phone number, why I am naming it as a varchar I don't know. We can able to integer also later we can able to varchar of 15 again it should not be null, so I'm just giving constraint pk persons. It may be the primary key, later we have discussed in the previous later videos. Primary key is nothing but the unique values. For now primary key is nothing but the unique values, later we will discuss briefly in later sessions. So I just plan after this maybe in the next video, I think so. It may be not in the next video, it may be used in the joins. Later we discuss in about the primary key in the join sessions. So alter, again let me get into the alter statement. I don't this the table schema, I just want to create the another, I just want to add a new column. I don't want to leave the by the phone number, I just want another column called the email. So alter table, here I just need the which table I'm going to change, from which table I'm going to change. I'm just going to change in the persons table. So that's the basic condition. If you change if you change in the any other table, like the table is that not have means where you going to change. That's the basic conditions, right? So alter table persons and add email varchar of 50. varchar 50 and it may be in the not null. Okay, that's all for this. Again, let me remove the column name. So adding means you can able to add email. Drop means I don't want the phone number, already I have the email. Why I want the phone number means later we are discussing. Add is new to this, my subscribers, my fellow subscribers, like add is new, add email varchar and 50. That's all. Remove, if you want to remove means drop column. Later this has been discussed in the theoretical session itself. Drop means how we can able to drop table persons. That's all. Drop person tables. Low. Let me execute this. Okay, let me create this table, executed this. Okay, what happened? Yeah, I just leave this. Let me execute this. Yeah, commands completed successfully. And again I want to see this means commands executed successfully. Again, yeah, phone number has been completely successful. If I do means later we are discussing this, later we can able to see. That's all for this session. Let's get into that. Let's start with another new topic in the next sessions. So that's it. Stay tuned. What's for watching, guys? What's for watching? Later we can subscribe to the Kishorelytics channel. Yes, guys. Now let's get into the DML statement. DML is nothing but the, I'm taking my pen. DML is nothing but the, now it's a story time. That's only I'm taking. I said as I take my pen. Okay, it's a DML. Let's get into the DML statement. DML is nothing but the data manipulation language. Manipulation is nothing but the modifying. Yeah, my handwriting is quite improved. I think so. My handwriting is slightly improved. Okay, let's get started. It's a story time again. So far, we have completed the DQL statement. Why I'm getting again and again this pixel means slowly we want to remember, right? We want to learn something and we want to revise something. Whatever the learned things we have learned, so we want to revise something and we have to learn something new. So in my first video, we have discussed about the select statement. Select is nothing but the fetching some results from the database. So only we have select. And DDL, now only we have to see about the DDL. DDL is nothing but the create definition. We want to give the definition as a name itself. We want to give the schema, creating the tables, altering the tables, and alter the tables, drop the tables, nothing but that. And now we are going to see this DML. DML is very important. If you create, we are just created the schemas of this table. So we want to insert some values, we want to update some values. If I don't like these values, I just want to delete these values. That's a basic condition. As a name itself, I guess it is mean by the inserting the values. Inserting the values. Update is nothing but the updating the values. Delete is nothing but the deleting the values. As a name, the subject. Okay, fine. Let's get into it. As the name itself suggests, we are going to see about the DML. DML is nothing but the data manipulation language. Data manipulation language. Okay, data manipulation language. Now, manipulation is nothing, I already told, manipulation is nothing but the modify. We want to modify the tables. Already we have created some database. Already we have created some employee table. Here we have the employee name, ID, birth date, phone number, email. Phone number we have delete. Here we have add the columns called email. Okay, we have some emails. So we have just only created this table. We want to insert some values. How we can insert some values later we are discussing in the syntax session. We are insert some values to the database. We want to update the values to some database. We want to delete the values some data to the database. That's a basic condition, right? We have discussed about that. So how we can able to insert the database? So inserting the database can be two types. Manual entry. Let me write it here. Manual entry. If you want means you can able to see in the visuals itself. Manual entry and the insert using the select statement. These both things has been covered in this session itself. Manual entry, insert using select. Okay. Later we are discuss about this. So first let's get into the manual entry. Manual entry means is nothing but already we have created some tables, right? Already we have created some. Let me read it, that not visible. My face has been visible. Already created some visible. We want to insert into the tables. Insert into employee. Manually we have insert one by one column. Insert columns. Insert. Let me think. Like think of is like where is my pointer? Think of is like this girl has been insert values. One again it's store. If you insert one is to be inserted in the table, and two again insert one by one. If you insert the Kishorelytics in this one, and the second my friend name Afil is there again, third name Shekushman, again, it will be inserted into the one. Manually we are inserting some values. That's the basic intention of the manual entry. So again that comes that we can able to, already we have some data table called, already we have some another developers we have created some tables, right? Think of it like another developer have some tables, and they, we want to fetch some results. We have fetch some results. Fetch some results means we have used a select query, fetch some results using the insert using the select. That's the basic intention. So first of all we want to select from the source table. From source table we have fetched some result, right? So fetch some result has been comes here. So with some result, with the result we have to insert into the target table. Very interesting, right? So we are we are selecting from where. So we are using the where condition from the source table. We are extract some information from the another table, and the result table is nothing but the result table, and the result table is used to be inserted in the target table. This is how it looks like it's very interesting, right? So that's the basic intention. Later we are discussing about the syntax in the later sessions. And for now, it can be used, insert can be used in the manual entry. Manual entry is nothing but the insert one by one values, insert into like this. So again the second thing is the select from using the select. We are select some fetching some results from the source table, and the result table is to be inserted into the target table. That's the basic intention. Target table is nothing but the employee table. So that's the basic intention, right? Okay. So let's get into the syntax part of this insert. I have shown the insert using the select in the practical part, so don't worry about this things. Now we are discussing about the manual entry. Okay, fine. Manual entry is nothing but the inserting one by one values. So again I am telling one rule. The rule number one: if you are to match the values, first of all the order is that employee ID, employee name, and the email, and the address. Okay, let me think it of address. So if you want to insert some values, you want to give it as the address. You don't want to mismatch the columns. The employee ID should be in the first row column, first column, and the second employee name. Employee's name is nothing but the Kishore. And email kishorelytics@gmail.com. If you want if you have any queries, please make sure to mail in the kishorelytics@gmail.com, or you can able to let me know in the comment below. I am happy to share everything in my comments. Subscribe to the Kishorelytics channel. I want to promote my channel. Okay, Kishorelytics. Okay, kishorelytics@gmail.com. Address is nothing but the Salem. Okay, Salem, Coimbatore, anywhere. I'm anywhere in the Salem and Coimbatore. Okay. So now, for now I'm just going to delete some if I want to insert these columns, I am not deleting. If I want to insert some columns, I want to give it as in the same way. First of all, if the rule number is if I give the Kishore as the first and the employee as the second, address as the Salem is the third, and later we have means it shows some error, because and the Kishore is in the character, employee ID is in the integer. If I store integer in the character, means it shows some error, right? That's the basic intention. We want to match the number of the columns and values. We want to match it. So that's the basic intention of this rule number one. Again, optional. It's only rule number two. I'm just writing the rule number two. It's optional only, but if the no columns here itself, see, I'm just underlining, right? In my picture itself, I'm just saying underlining. If I want 3 columns, means if you want to give it like this only 3 columns. If you don't mention these columns, you want to give all the values. That's the basic condition. It's if I want to all the if SQL accepts all the columns, expects of values, all values from the your table input for the input. Okay, that's the basic condition. So let's get into the syntax part. So how we can able to insert the tables? Insert. I'm just going to insert. It's a structured query English language SQL. Okay. That's the basic condition of we are creating the SQL, right? SQL is nothing but the SQL. So SQL means nothing but the structured query language. In my previous video itself, we are discussed about the story of the SQL later. So okay, insert. We are going to insert the some columns. So I'm using the insert. From which column we are going to insert? I'm just going to insert in the into this table name. Table name is nothing but the employee. I'm just going to input in the employee column. So that I'm just using the insert into employee. So for now, I just need employee ID, employee name, email. So 3 columns only I just need. So column 1, if you are employee ID, later we discuss in the briefly in the previous part, it's employee ID, employee name and address. Let me name it as address. Okay, that's it. So I'm just going to insert into table name these values. These are the values, right? I is giving the values. The three I think the 4 keywords. Insert into the table name values. This has been optional. Later we have discussed. So inside this we have to give the values. Inside this I'm just writing here. Okay, I'm just writing here. Employee ID 1 Kishore, address Salem, employee ID 2 Kishorelytics, Coimbatore. Okay, that's the basic definition of this. So that's up for this insert statement. Let's get into the update. So what is mean with the update? We want to update some columns. So if already we made man's mistake, humans made mistake, right? So we want already inserted some values by mistake, means we want to update the values. So we want to update the table. So update is nothing but the given the update table name. We want to give which table we are going to changing. I'm going to change in the employee table. Say the column set means nothing but we are going to set. We are going to set column 1. I'm just going that column 1 is equal to value 1. Column 2, which values we are going to change. So here I'm just going to in employee ID. In employee ID, from which column you are going to change? From employee ID value 1. From which value? For which value I'm just going to 1. So employee to employee name to Kishorelytics, where condition we want to give the condition. So where employee ID is equal to 2, we want to going to change the condition. So that's a basic condition. Update table name said column 1 is equal to value 1, column 2 is equal to value 2. That's a for this value. So again the main rule, or take it as the note, always use where to avoid updating all the rows unintentionally. And the basic condition we want to, why we want to use, means if you use the conditions that can be easily going to fix in the tables. That's the base. That's a for this you can use. If you want to use means you can use, or you can don't use. That's up for your point. So okay, again let's get into the statement called delete. So far we have completed the insert. And we have completed the update. So now we are going to see about the delete. So what is meant by the delete? Already we discussed a very important question in my previous session, drop. So now we are going to see about the delete. So delete syntax means nothing but the delete. Delete from from which table we are going to delete? From which table? So already delete means nothing but deleting some values in the table. Deleting the values in the table. That's the basic condition. So I'm just using the delete from table name where condition. Where condition means where employee. I just don't need the employee. Employee ID is equal to 1. Employee ID is nothing but the Kishore. He is a CEO. So why I want to mention it as the employee? He is a CEO, right? Why I want to mention it as the employee ID? So that's the basic condition of delete from table name where condition. Okay, that's up for this. I think my sketches has been over. Later discussion that I just explain all of the. If I teach like this means, are you okay, guys? Let me know. If I teach like this, my sketch and pen, like if you guys are interested, please make sure to comment. I'm happy to share. I'm happy to express all those things. I'm just giving the heart symbol to your comments. Okay. So if I teach like this means this only happens. How Scrabble science teach, but if it will understands, right? Okay, fine. So far we are let me give the DML statement quick recap. DML statement, so far we are coming to the DML. DML is nothing but data manipulation language manipulation. So I just want to write again. Okay, manipulation is equal to modify. That's the basic condition we have discussed. So we have discussed about the insert, update and delete. Update is nothing but the inserting the values. Insert is nothing but between the two types. Insert manual entry, insert using the select statement. So far we have discussed the insert syntax and update syntax and delete syntax. That's up for this session. So let's get into the practical part of this session, DML statement. So let's get into it. Yes guys, now let's get into the practical part of this DML statements. So let's get into it. So first of all, we discuss about the insert statements and we have discussed about the syntax of these statements. So now let's get into it. Insert is nothing but we are going to insert some values. Or we can able to insert some values, insert into customers. We are going to insert in, first of all, we want to create some database. So only we can able to create some, already we have, I think I have created some database, right? Like customers. Insert into customers ID, and I'm just giving the first name, and I'm giving the country, I'm giving the score of this customers. So I'm just instituting the values. So I'm just giving inside this parenthesis, I'm just giving the ID 6 and Anna first name, India. From which country? It's from the India, and I don't have the scores of this Anna. Anna, let me name it as Anna. Null. Okay, fine. That's about this. And the second Sam, and I don't have the country name 100, and the score is 100. Okay, fine. If I have mentioned, some, let me execute this. Later we are discuss. Okay, fine. If I incorrect column order, if I mention, I just want to show to right. I just in the rule itself I just told. If you mention any wrong mismatch values, the shows an error. Let me show this. Like one drop. What happens? It also shows, but it if we mention. Let me check. Select star from customers. Okay, let me mention tab, and if I show this, I think this table has a lot of values. I think so. See, if the first name, it may be the max. So in the second name, it may be the USA. Third name, it may be the null. So if we correct column order, if you mention insert into column customers, so ID, first name, and country scores. You want to mention before itself, so then only you can able to insert. So I8 max USA, that's all. If I mention like this, you can able to see the all the columns. This has been introduced with teaching in my previous video itself. So I think okay, fine, correct. Incorrect data type in my values. Insert into customers ID, first name, country, and scores. Incorrect data type. If you mention max, like let me show, max is nothing but the I mentioned that ID is in the integer, right? It shows an error. So conversion failed. Okay, that's the basic information I told in my previous itself. I just told. Insert a new record with full column values means you can able to do like this, means insert into customers ID. First of all, let me execute this. Okay, violation of this primary key. Yeah, in the previous itself I told, right. The statement has been terminated. Okay, fine. That's for this. Okay, insert into customers ID. I'm just giving the first name and the country and score values. Inside this, I'm just giving the max USA and the score as 368. Later we discuss about the error later. So insert a new record. That's up for this. And yes, like this we can able to insert. So insert the data using the select also. I just told to show. First of all, let me select some statement. Select ID first name null and unknown from customers. This has been printed. From the customers table, and again I just want to insert into the same table. Insert into persons table. So this has been inserted. Okay. Invalid phone. Okay. Let me check. Yeah, phone has been deleted in my previous itself, right? Then how it phone has been come. Okay, select ID first name null. This has been updated. That's the basic information I just told. So update customers set score is equal to 0 where ID, where we want to give the condition, so that only update customer score ID is equal to 6. Let me execute this. This has been executed. One draft factor, that means that the ID has been changed. So if you want to mention, we can able to set score is equal to 0 and country. We can mention two conditions also in a single update. Okay, that's the basic information we are told. So update customer score where score is null means we want to mention where I have mentioned one row subfactor. That's a basic information. Update customers where we can able to mention scores is null. Which customers value scores is null means I just want to update it as 0. So that's the basic information of this command. So select star customer where you can able to see this table. Okay, as question there is no numbers are in this table where null. Okay, we have changed, right, we have changed it to 0, then how it means output has been shown. Okay, so select star from customers where ID greater than 5. So let me check 678. Okay, this can delete from the customers where ID greater than 5. We have deleted. So if I delete all the values means you can able to delete. So okay, if I want to truncate means you can able to truncate. Truncate also can mean I just told, right. Completion successful. That's up for this video. I just came across all those things, right. All those things. If it is like this means this only happens. Okay, fine. I think I just covered everything about the DDL, DQL, DML. Everything has been covered from in the next video you can able to see the some interesting topics. So that's all for this video. This is Kishore and signing up from the Kishorelytics. Tata, bye bye.